Bloomberg has a gut-wrenching article about the state of the meat industry in the U.S. They say workers in plants run by the largest U.S. poultry producers are regularly being denied bathroom breaks, and as a result, some are reduced to wearing diapers while working on the processing line, Oxfam America said in a report Wednesday. The report cited unnamed workers from Tyson Foods, Inc., Pilgrim's Pride Corporation, Purdue Farms, and Sanderson Farms, who said that supervisors mock them, ignore requests, and threaten punishment or firing. When they can go, they wait in long lines, even though they are given limited time, sometimes 10 minutes. Oxfam said the cost of cheap chicken in the U.S. is workers who face low wages, suffer elevated rates of injury and illness, and face a climate of fear in the workplace. So when I went through this article, my initial reaction was actually something they went on to bring up in the article, which is, oh, this reminds me of The Jungle, Upton Sinclair, the book from the early 1900s that spoke about the state of the meat industry and how it was just an absolute, utter, disgusting disaster with no regulation and no protections, and it's gross for a variety of different reasons. It looks like we haven't really gone too far past that era. I mean, I guess in some ways we have, but when you have people who are working for you, by the way, my guess would be probably undocumented, which is why they get away with treating them like this, and you have them working for you and they're standing in diapers as they do their job. Yet again, what this reminds me of is like the shrimp story we covered. I don't know if you guys remember that, but the shrimp industry is actually rife with slavery, like outright forced labor. There are some countries where, and you can trace the product line all the way to, the corporations in the U.S. that end up selling it for dirt cheap in stores. Like on the other end of that is basically slave labor in some third world country where people are sleeping in like tenement house situations and there's no plumbing and it's super dirty and, there's mixing in fecal matter with their hands as they fucking do what they got to do with the shrimp. And look, man, I know I'm not the only one. In fact, this is probably a majority position if you poll on it. If it meant paying 50 cents more, $1 more, $3 more, whatever it is for standard goods and food products and things of that nature, we'd pay that if it means not having slave labor. We would pay that if it means workers' rights and protections. But obviously with this corporate supremacist system that we have, it's all about the profit motive. It's all about driving down costs. And it's basically a race to the bottom. And this is why you see, even in a climate where the American people are grossed out by this and disgusted by it and they want to change it, we even have Democratic politicians, never mind the Republicans who are totally bought off, but even the Democrats are like, we should do more free trade deals. Obama did the Colombian free trade deal, which was a disaster. The Panama free trade deal, which made it easier to do tax dodging. Now they're pushing for the TPP. I mean, what a joke this is. Did you know that Malaysia is part of the TPP? The Obama administration fought for Malaysia to be part of the TPP. Even though Malaysia, and I quote, tolerates slavery. So they have a horrific workers' rights situation there, and Obama's like, totally got to let them in. They do slavery? Whatevs. Let them in. Again, why? Because he's not really in control. It's the corporations. It's his corporate overlords who are pulling the strings. Okay, we need to make more money. We need to make a deal with these people. So even though they tolerate slavery, put it in there. To the point where the Obama government, the executive branch, released a new report, and they were like, oh, did the report from last year say that Malaysia does slavery? They totally cleaned it all up, bro. Not anymore. It's all fixed. So that's the new trick they do. Tolerate human rights abuses and forced labor, and then turn around, and if you got to doctor your reports to say, oh, everything's hunky-dory there now, do that just so you can get the deal passed. And also, by the way, so you can ship out more good-paying U.S. jobs with regulation overseas where there's less regulation. But in this case, what we're learning is, at least when it comes to the meat industry, apparently the regulations are super lax in the U.S. where people are shitting in diapers on fucking processing lines. Nobody's in favor of this, okay? Nobody's in favor of this. And by the way, probably the biggest takeaway from this is why we need strong unions. This is why we need collective bargaining and workers' rights. Because when you don't have that, when you have people in the shadows, well, this is the result. They are going to take advantage of you. They are going to force you to do extra work, and they are going to pay you as little as humanly possible. So the answer is liberal politics. The answer is progressivism. The answer is Bernie Sanders-style governance. The answer is unions and workers coming together to fight for our rights. We can't tolerate stuff like this any longer.